Let's talk about Lara Croft. So as I'm recording this video, there is a teaser trailer, a full trailer, and a gameplay trailer that was released at this year's E3. You know, I'll be honest, when I first heard that a new Tomb Raider game was being released, I really wasn't that enthused about it. But after seeing the new trailers, I'm actually quite excited about this game. So why don't we start with the teaser trailer? So the trailer opens up with Lara Croft aboard this cargo vessel that's caught up in this storm and quickly capsizes. It looks as though she's maybe 23 or 24 at this point. Essentially, Tomb Raider wants to be the origin story of Lara Croft. I mean, we're going to see Lara Croft's transformation from this sweet, innocent little girl to this ball-busting, take-no-shit badass. So in the next scene, she wakes up, cast away on this remote island, and she is basically bloodied and beat up to shit. I mean, her arm is broken, I think her shoulder is dislocated, she has this huge gash going along her stomach. And besides all that, she is just covered in like mud and gunk and blood. Now, apart from that, we know very little about the story, but we can obviously see from this teaser that it's a much darker, a much grittier Tomb Raider game than we've seen in previous installments. It's clear that the developers at Crystal Dynamics really want to show you the pain and the suffering that Lara Croft goes through in this game. I mean, if there ever was a criticism for the previous Tomb Raider games, it's that you never feel the physical and psychological toll that Lara's misadventures has on her. And going into this new game, they really want to highlight that and bring it out to the forefront. They want the player to experience the pain that Lara Croft is going through, both emotional and physical. Now, I might even go so far as to call this game a reboot, since it's so different from anything they've ever had in their own franchise. But because it's an origin story, I'm kind of hesitant to call it that. So the trailer opens up and we see that Lara is hanging upside down from the ceiling, and she is just trying to free herself, swinging back and forth. And eventually her bindings catch on fire and she manages to fall. Unfortunately, she lands on this wayward arrow just sticking out of the ground, and the thing impales her just right through her side. Now, a couple seconds later, she gets a bow and arrow and starts hunting and gathering food, and you think things can only get better. And it isn't long before she comes across one of her friends who's also washed up on the island. Only seconds later, she gets kidnapped from like a pirate or a bandit with a knife at her throat. And as Lara tries to go in and save her, her foot gets caught in a bear trap. And in the next scene, Lara comes across a bunch of her friends who've been swept onto the island, only to find that they're soon captured by these pirates or bandits. And as Lara is sneaking around this camp with her hands bound behind her back, no less, we see her friends kind of getting shot in the darkness. So then one of the pirates grabs her, and it kind of implies that he's going to rape her, but she knees him in the groin. He punches her in the face. And in order to escape, she essentially bites this guy's ear off and eventually breaks loose of her binds, grabs his gun, shoots him in the face. And by the whole ordeal, she is just like on empty. She's got blood covered from head to toe. Now, it's clear that the people at Crystal Dynamics are making this game more about survival and less about action. Now, what I like to see in this game is more emphasis on melee combat, specifically things like machetes and bows and arrows, and a less reliance on guns. I mean, you're talking to a guy who loved the original Tomb Raider games on the PS1, but kind of fell out of touch with the franchise going into the next-gen consoles of the PS2 and the PS3 and Xbox. You know, playing those games back in the day, I never could have imagined there'd be a Tomb Raider game looking as good as this one does. Trust me, if you saw the original games today, you would think they were crap. I mean, anyone who played Tomb Raider on the PS1 remembers how her tits just kind of jutted out like kind of like this, just like that. They kind of just stuck out to points. And the running with her guns just out like that, it would be just so mechanical. But you know what? That's how they rolled. That's what it was. It's clear that this game is going to have a much darker tone. I think the developers are really going for a game that is really built upon suspense and tension and survival as opposed to just straight up shooting. Now, the inevitable comparisons are going to be made between Tomb Raider and Uncharted. It's actually kind of funny because when Naughty Dog was first creating their Uncharted series, they no doubt looked towards the Tomb Raider series and thought to themselves, how can we make this game experience different, or how can we improve upon it? Now we flash forward 10 years later, and it's the guys at Crystal Dynamics looking towards the Uncharted series, asking themselves, well, how can we make this different? How can we improve upon this? Bottom line, if you haven't seen these trailers yet, do yourself a favor and check them out for yourself. And really, my expectations for this game are high, and I'm looking forward to what Crystal Dynamics brings to the franchise. Thanks for watching. As always, feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe to my channel.